Hello. Hello there. Look who we've got today. Excuse me. I don't know what this one is doing. I grabbed some food. I grabbed my notes. Hello everybody. Hi. Hello Ad. Hello Jen. I know Jen came in earlier. I've also burnt the roof of my mouth. In all my chaos, as always. Hello. She wants the food. That's what it is. Hello, negative slimes. Cat, this is Paul the girl cat. Hello, arcane priest.
Holy pork sandwiches.
Shelligans.
Happy Pride Fi.
Happy Pride to you too. Hello. Hello everybody. We have a very special guest today, and it's Jen is online, and we're going to be talking to Jen in about 8 minutes, 7 minutes even. Hi. Please don't bite me on live Twitch. Please do not. Please do not. Schlebs, hello. We're going to be talking to Jen about pansexuality and also common misconceptions. Now, for a lot of my queer life, I have identified as pansexual. So there's a lot of things that I'll be thinking about in terms of my experience, not to take away from Jen's, because everyone is different. But I think this is a really cool conversation to have. There's a lot of things that we experience in the community, and we've talked and touched on this before about erasure of certain things. So I think it's really, really important to talk about this. Can you stop distracting me? Anyway, hi. Hello Stuart. Hello Saray. How are we doing? Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I bring up my little bits and bobs, just so we've got everything there. I've got my virtual cam. Let me turn it off and on, because I feel like it does a weird thing when I have it on immediately. Start virtual cam. Done. Okay. Are you all okay? Have you had a good day? We've got an ad break. Of course we've got an ad break. Shelligans, thank you for the Paul wants streamies. Let's see. You want these, do you? You're going to wave to everybody. Say hi, chat. Wave. Hi. Hi. Oh, did you drop it? I don't want to be picking that up later. Okay, are you waving again? Okay, waving. Okay, we got that one. So, where'd it go? No, we might as well get the ad done and out the way. Might as well. Kyla, hello. So you're all good, Ad. We're okay. Oh, are we okay? I don't know, it's Monday. True. Hello, Ali. That's a very direct question to ask, but no. The best thing to do is say hello first, get to know us. Negative comments will end up being ignored from people who are ignorant. But anyway, bank account got fleeced last night. Someone got your card details. Oh no. Oh, Stuart, that doesn't sound good. I did watch Eurovision. I can't remember who was the best one. It was a few weeks ago. Paul, are you... Anyways. Alright, so... I'm going to use an invite link. Ali, no I'm not. Are you? Hello. Ireland, by default. I don't think they had a good one this year, although all my family are from Ireland. Midnight, how are you doing? Oh no, Stuart. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have a spring roll. I think she wants the spring roll. I think. Willingness to be a good productivity, but yeah. Ali, yes it is, yeah. Yeah. She does really want it, but we cannot let her have that. Right, I'm gonna send, I don't know if Jen can hear me at the moment. I'm going to send an invite link on the Discord. Mimi, you said that twice, but I'm guessing you want me to ask you why. Is that right? Yeah, just to say, I'm gonna put an invite link in the Discord. No pressure. Oh, Arctic Fox. Sadly, it's 18+ in here, but I'm not a professional. I would absolutely reach out to local services. But we are 18+ in here, so you're not able to be in here, my friend. Apologies. The trolls always come out over there. Hello, Sandy, as well. Backstage. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If I can just remember what I do. Yes. Okay. Hello. I also realise, is it muting you because I have a tab muted? Audio. Okay, I think you're talking, but I can't hear you. So, check. Oh, I can see you. Okay, hang on. Right, let's see. Let's see. Please work. Everything else is working. We love technical issues. I wonder why. Right, audio. Output is my headset. Let me just turn it off and on. See if that works. Does that work? Hello? No? Yeah, I haven't got the Twitch, so I've checked and it wasn't muted anyway, but I know that muted it before. And your mic's definitely on. See, it's showing that there's audio coming from you. I'm so sorry about this. We'll get it. We will get it. Audio output. How about now? That's still not working. How about I come out and go back in? This is so silly. We can do voice in Discord. Yes, that is another option as well, actually. Yeah, that would work.
Oh.
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Oh my goodness. I've never had that issue with stream together.
That's so silly. Sometimes there's some weirdness.
It's really weird. And now my screen and everything is working as well. Okay. Thank goodness.
Hello.
Hello, we have everyone. Say hi. We've finally,
hi everybody.
Finally
Hi friends.
How are you? So this is Jen, as we all probably have guessed. And Jen,
I don't know, maybe. Could be.
Well, but Jen is my guest today, and we're going to be talking about pansexuality. It's a big word. It's a big important word. But first of all, I mean, Jen, tell me a bit about yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
This is probably
Jen.
a big question.
Well, I stream here on Twitch. I make content Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays here live, and then I also make YouTube content and short-form content over on TikTok and all sorts of stuff. So, oh my god, combos! Let's go! I'm so excited you have combos unlocked.
Nice. I have no idea how these work. They're like bits, but
they are. Yeah, they just are little taps.
All right. Nice.
They're fun. But yeah,
nice.
I'm the stream team leader of the Firekeepers, which is a Dark Souls related stream team.
Nice.
And I just try to be funny. I'm a little comedy focused, body positive, representative here on this platform, and I love the big gay energy and making sure that people feel like they could be authentically themselves on the platform and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Very important. Yeah, I've heard so many good things about you as well. I know we connected through the Pride Guild, right? And that's always like such a nice place to meet people. But a lot of people, when I started talking about who I was going to be meeting and talking to, everyone was like, "Oh my God, Jen, it's lovely! I can't wait for you to speak." So there's been so many nice things. They like the vibes, and if they like the vibes, I can already tell that we're going to like the vibes. So that's really cool. And I see those combos going off.
Let's go
that's
combos.
Crazy. Crazy. All right. So, obviously you're pansexual. So
yes,
everyone has different experiences. Coming out can be many different occasions of coming out to friends, different friends, coming out to different family members, coming out to people at work, coming out to people on stream. Has it been like quite varied for you in that sense? That's quite a big question as well, because there could be instances that you remember. There's so many in life that you forget. But
you know, I'm actually lucky. I've never had to come out. I've never had the experience of coming out, and I'm like privileged in that, because I've always, my family or my friends or anything like that. I have been surrounded by gays, surrounded by people in the 2S LGBTQIA plus community. And I have always been taught and always just have been. And I recognize that that is not a normal thing. However, I do think it should be normal.
It should.
People should just be able to be, and I am very lucky in that. But I have always just been. I've never had to come out to somebody, or I've never had. I mean, I've definitely told people, but it never has felt like a coming out. I've never hidden who I was. I've always been someone who is interested in everybody. For a period of time, I was unsure of what I would label myself. I thought I was maybe lesbian for a long time, actually, and then I was like, well, maybe I'm actually bi. And then learning about pansexuality is where I actually landed on that. But I'd never had a story or like anything where I had to experience that. And I wish more people could say that.
That is really nice. I think you're maybe the second person I've ever heard say something like that in my life. And I'm 39 soon. I'm 38. But I'll be 39 soon, and it should be, like you say, it really should be like that. It shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be a thing that causes so much stress and worry and people not being sure because of how other people's reactions will be. So it really is nice to hear stuff like that. But yeah, it's so different for so many people. I've not had too many bad instances personally either, but mine's been a bit all over the place, and there have been times where I've not growing up I didn't know what my identity was. I also autistic and I have ADHD, but with the neurodivergence I thought I was it's that I thought I was odd. I didn't know what, I couldn't explain things. I knew I liked boys at one point, but then I also liked girls at one point, and I couldn't understand why I wasn't didn't like one or the other. And as I was a bit more like adolescent age, I realised I was more bisexual. And a bit like you, I was like, well, it doesn't really matter who it is. I'm attracted to certain people at certain times. It doesn't mean, or not certain, it just, if I fancy someone, they happen to be a guy. If I fancy someone, they happen to be a girl. But it doesn't really matter. It's not gender based. And so then that's when I more recently realised the term pansexual was a better fit. But then it kind of is a bit fluid a lot of the times. I always joke around that I find like two men attractive in the world. My current partner and a wrestler called Roman Reigns, and I'm sorry if people don't know who that is. He's a long-haired, bearded guy. He's got some muscles, but I find myself I'm more attracted to women on the whole. But obviously, I'm in a monogamous, or not obviously, I'm in a monogamous relationship, and I'm faithful to him. And he also finds Roman Reigns attractive, and he's a cis-het male man. But yeah, he's not. He can see, he can appreciate. But then I decided to go for queer, because queer just felt like a bit of a more, if things felt fluid or something, it just seemed to fit better. Coming out to people, I can see that,
especially with the, I'd say, new, more so forced overlap of bisexual and pansexuality. I feel like queer is something that I've been leaning towards as well, because I don't consider myself bisexual, and I get frustrated when I see bisexual / pansexual as
Yeah.
if they're the same, and I'm
Yeah.
like, they're not.
Yeah.
So I've been actually as well leaning a bit more towards just saying queer.
That's interesting. Yeah,
it just feels more all encompassing.
Yeah, yeah. If it's frustrating, kind of. Well, it's not. For me, it feels frustrating because I'll tell someone, and then I'll say, oh, actually, it's more pan, and then it's more bi, and most of the time
Right.
people are like, okay, but you have some people like, are you sure? Do you know? But it's more of like getting further into the direct description, or you know what I mean. It's still on track, so it's not like I've gone, hey, I identify as this, and then I identify as this, which is on a completely different trajectory, which is also, if that's what people experience, like that's also not to be invalidated. But yeah, I don't know, it's felt sometimes the reactions of a small handful of people are a little bit like, I can feel the judgy. I can feel that kind of thing. Or a lot of the time, if I've come out to people and said, oh, I do like other people that are not men, and people are like, oh, are you sure, because you know you're in a relationship with a man. But then if I've been in a relationship with a woman, people will say, oh, are you sure you're not just a lesbian then, or whatever. So it's
definitely, I think it is easier, unfortunately, for people to place a label that is more commonly understood, like gay or lesbian or straight, on a couple, whereas when you're in a straight passing relationship, you're questioned for your sexuality, and when you're in a lesbian or gay passing relationship, you're questioned for your sexuality. And it's interesting. It's very interesting.
It's nice to learn more about that, and to know that it's not something that we experienced alone. Thank you guys for sharing things as well in chat, Rachie Pie, and Gassy as well. Thank you, and everyone. Just we see
only
you
Rachie
chat.
Pie and
We
Gassy.
See
no one else.
Exclusively only them. Oh, right. Experiences. So good and bad. So you've had like some really good experiences. That is good. There's a whole big topic that we can go in, so many tangents.
Of course.
We've got time. We don't have to use up the whole time. Totally. If we do, that's fine. Fine by me anyway. I don't know how long you've got.
Yeah,
but
I've got time.
we got 2.5 hours.
Phoebe knows. I was in bed like 15 minutes before getting on here.
I was so jealous. Because I was up like 9-10 hours ago.
Oof,
and we got a long day to go. But it's fine. I've been really looking forward to these talks. Like I've been trying to get some done before Pride. There are a few discussions, because as we all know, Pride exists outside of June as well. But
we don't all hermit into our caves and then hibernate for the rest of the year.
Exactly. But I mean, you can speak for yourself. But after June, that's me done. I'm out.
Done.
No. I hope you know I'm joking. I hope you know I'm joking.
No.
I don't know. Where was my brain has just switched off whatever track I was on. This might
have a lot
also
of topics
happen.
that we could talk about. But you also planned topics for us.
Yeah. So
which is cool.
We've got like 10 common misconceptions that I wanted to go through. And I think throughout this can be like instances where you share something that might have happened before, or something you've heard, or something you've seen, or just like, this is absolutely BS, and that's that. So the first one was, pansexuals are just bisexual or going through a phase.
Yeah.
It's kind of two strands to that, but like,
And that sort of touches on what I said a moment ago, how it frustrates me how bis and pans have been sort of looped together.
Yeah.
And I think it's because there's a broader conversation around what bisexuality is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that that's a bad thing. But bisexuality, in my understanding and in my journey, and caveat that everyone's journey is different, but bisexuality, in my experience, means you like men and women. Whether or not that is a cis het man or woman, or a gender fluid or gender adjacent man or woman. Anyway, it is, to me, two. You like two kinds of people. You like people who represent themselves as male and people who represent themselves as female. That's fine. But I don't feel that way. And that's also the conversation around bisexuality, because bisexuality is really stemming into more than just that, but that is what my experience is. And pansexuality, to me, is not gender-based. It is energy-based. It is, I will be attracted to anybody who identifies with anything and anyone and has any gender or any identity because I like them. It is an energy-focused thing. I think that it is less rooted in someone's identity than bisexuality is. And that's how I have differentiated it over time. And excuse me, I really feel strongly in that, with my experience, that has been true for me. I have a partner, and that partner is who they are, and then I am also that person's partner. Like, I am who I am. And I don't necessarily go around saying, like, I'm dating a trans mask, or I'm dating so-and-so, I'm dating someone, unless that is something that they want. I don't care. I do care, I gotta admit, I do care about their identity, and I do care about their empowerment that they have within themselves and expressing their gender. But I do not feel
it matters.
Tied. I don't feel like it matters.
Yeah.
to my attraction to them.
Yeah. 100%. With bi, like, only recently I was reading something about how it's because of personal experience, exactly the same. It would have been opposite gender, whatever.
Right.
And then now it's I was reading that bisexuals may experience attraction regardless of gender, regardless of sex, but it's the I feel like I'm going to mess this up in how to say it, but it's bisexuals can be attracted to different genders in different ways, essentially.
Absolutely.
More than one gender, but not others. So it's a bit more restrictive.
It's more in I don't know. I'm not bi, but I feel like it is just generally more focused on someone else's identity. Where pansexuality is like more of a free-flowing, energy-based sort of vibe.
Regardless of gender, but still important, like you were saying.
I will meet someone where they're at, and if I like them, I like them.
Yeah. That's exactly what I feel. That's cool. What was the next one? So I've got this, regardless of what I've said, and I know friends have had this before as well. Being pansexual means you're attracted to everyone all the time.
Yeah. No, I'm joking, but
I mean, this is stupid.
It is dumb. No, it's stupid. But I am more likely to be attracted to anybody.
Yeah.
But I am not attracted to everybody all the time.
Yeah. That could get a bit dangerous when everybody, that encompasses family. I mean, pretty much most of us are not going there. I mean, you know, I don't even want to. Yeah, I don't even know why that came out. But Basically, in a way to explain how that is the most ridiculous thing, that, and like, yeah, energy and stuff doesn't mean that you like everyone's energy. There are different kinds of energy anyway. I don't know. It's it's such a weird thing to bring up.
I think it's a strange thing to say, and I think it stems a lot from insecurity in like the gay community, where a man will be friends with a man, and that man is gay.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, does that mean that you're checking me out?" No.
Yeah, I've
no?
seen that more often than not. That's the most common experience that I've witnessed.
Exactly.
Is when gay friends have come out and they're like, "Oh, does it mean you fancy me?" You're like,
no, no, I
don't worry, hon. You're exempt from that.
You're exempt, and also I'm not attracted to you. It's different, and I think that a simple mind really sees that they must be included in someone's sexuality.
Yeah.
And so when you hear that someone's a lesbian and you're a man, you feel, okay, well, I'm not allowed, I'm not in this. When someone's bi, they can be included. When someone's gay, they can be included. And when someone's pan, they can be included. So it's really just like an inclusion thing. They're like, I must include myself here, and I must be the attractive one that you want.
Yeah.
And it's not the case.
Most of the time it's not the case, pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much every time I've witnessed it, it's not been the case, sadly, for them, I'm sure.
Unfortunately.
But
just not that cute, bro.
Just you don't have to be involved in every way, and it's a lot. I see a lot of that with the debates that happen at the moment with the silly things about the toilets issue and trans people. It's the most ridiculous thing that's being talked about when it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that.
Go off on really long tangents about how.
Yeah, I've never felt threatened by a
X,
trans
Y, and Z.
person in a bathroom, but
nope.
The people that seem to be arguing it seem to be those kind of people, like creating a scenario that just isn't real, and sometimes putting themselves in that situation when they wouldn't be in that situation in the first place. So yeah, it's a bit of a sad thing, but hopefully more people can realise that it's just ridiculous, and it's ridiculous as well to be a certain sexuality and that encompass everyone under that umbrella. Yeah, because it's just not possible at all.
No, and I mean, ultimately everyone's attraction is different. And that's just, I mean, for anybody who doesn't like everybody, their attraction is different. You can like a certain type of person, you can like a certain group of people, you can like a certain thing, you can have these preferences, and so can pansexual people who happen to be attracted to the possibility of everybody. But no, I'm not living in a constant state of attraction that's holding me down and unable to move forward.
Can you imagine? You just wouldn't get anything done. Oh, no, thank you.
We get a lot of things done.
No, hey, look, that's a far better statement to make than anything that's odd or weird or something. So, hi Kay as well. My sister's in the chat as well.
Hello.
Anyways, where were we? Okay. Pansexuals are incapable of being faithful. That's one strand again, and then or participating in monogamous relationships. Well, I mean, I've already said that I'm in a monogamous relationship. And were you saying you were in a monogamous relationship?
Me too.
Yeah. How about that?
So painfully monogamous that I can't even consider the possibility of polyamory or being cheated on or like my eyes do not wander, and so it's really, I'm engrossed in the person that I'm with at that moment in time, and that's important to me, I also know a lot of pansexual people who are polyamorous, but I'm jealous. I'm a jealous bitch.
It's just not for you. It's not for me either. I've had some weird situations in the past, or one weird situation that scared me off the possibility of open relationships anyway. And it was someone that was turned out they were poly, and they were trying to force that on me because I liked women at the time. They knew me as bisexual, but that doesn't mean that I want my partner to be doing all these things. That one didn't work out, thankfully, and thankfully I've also moved on quite into a much better and healthier relationship since. But the same for me personally, I've been cheated on. I could never do that to someone else. If I were cheated on, I would leave. And I just I want to be, if I'm with someone, I want to be with them, and I don't want anyone else. I could be attracted to other people, I think that's okay, but acting on it is not okay, and even doing anything with it is not okay for me. Like, there's appropriate and absolutely not appropriate, and to find people attractive is one thing, but to openly, put someone down by saying something or making someone feel like they've got a chance leading someone on is just not very cool different. So I'm very strict with things like that, and I'm absolutely capable of being faithful because that's all I know and that's all I want to know. I would if I started losing feelings for someone, I'd go the right way about that. So another absolutely wrong statement there. Rachel, you said me and my partner do make the big okay, but we can date. Can we date them joke? But we would never. Yeah. So I say this about Roman Reigns, the other man that I find attractive in the world. Yeah. At this point in time.
I'm looking him up right now.
We're we'll if he were to ask, but he's married too, so wouldn't want to be a homewrecker. But yeah,
Roman Reigns from WWE.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really attractive. That's crazy.
He's kind of nice.
He's kind of nice.
He's kind of nice.
So funny.
Whew. Sandy says it's also very easy to be faithful. Yeah. True. Right? The people that cheat, that are like, oh, it was an accident. Nothing's ever an accident when you're openly acting on some feelings or some attraction to someone. I never think that's an okay excuse, because nothing excuses cheating, right? An accident, my entire yeah.
Yeah, no. It's wild.
No. Well,
it's an active choice every time.
Gassy, you were saying when I came out to my last partner as pan, they immediately asked me to be in a threesome with a man. Yeah, there's that is quite. I
think that's actually one of our topics.
That could be, yeah. Boops to scoops.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a couple questions later.
So we will come to that, because definitely sorry that happened to you, and that's awful. Sounds like I'm really into myself, but every time I think a random person is too nice or friendly without my encouragement, I immediately go to my partner. It's a safety net, isn't it? It's a that's okay. That's common behaviour or valid behaviour. For sure. Let's have a look. The next one.
Yeah. All right.
Pansexuals and bisexuals can coexist.
No other bisexuals exist in the world. Just kidding. Yeah. What a silly misconception.
It's just a bit strange, isn't it?
I do think that they can coexist, but I do think that there is a muddying of... I've mentioned this a couple times now. There's definitely a muddying of bisexuality and pansexuality being forced to be in the same category.
Yeah.
Which has been frustrating for me.
Yeah, even in the acronym, it's people say like, so I remember before saying, well, what does the P come under? And they were like, oh, it's just under the B for bisexual, because of course it's
I'm like,
multiple.
no, I'm in the plus.
Like,
I'm in
the
plus part of that.
I say that too, the plus, which it sounds silly, but at least like when I talk about the Q, I'm like, the Q, at least the Q's in there, but it shouldn't be that some are not openly on the agenda, or on the, I don't know, on the carousel,
on the
as it were.
I
don't know.
2S LGBTQIA plus equals agenda.
Yeah.
No, I love.
This is so corrupt.
Yes, we could all coexist. We could all do these things.
Yeah, it's kind of simple, isn't it? Oh, sorry, carry on.
It feels, it's simple. It's silly that there is this muddying of something that's very different, and then it's also silly that people feel like they can't be together. Or can and can't be together. Sorry.
Either way.
Coexist. Yeah. You know, the word that was being used in the question, for sure. Silly question.
Silly question. All right. Good. Because you're pansexual, it automatically means you're interested in threesomes and orgies. So what Gassy said, and hello DJWP, hello, by the way. So yeah, it means you're interested, because you're pansexual, it automatically means you're interested in threesomes and orgies.
As dependent on person to person, for sure.
Yeah. Personally, no. And Jen?
I don't know, maybe. But it's not automatic.
Well,
like, it's not like, here's your pansexuality card, and on the corner there is a small fine print about having to be interested in orgies and threesomes.
Yeah.
It's not all encompassing. It's definitely person to person.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with like polyamory or asexuality or anything like that. Like people could be, or sorry, even aromantic, excuse me. And it could be different for each person you speak to. And it's just important to not pigeonhole and not to throw everyone in one bag. It is not automatically that.
It's not. And same. There are times where I've been interested or thought about it and been curious. Sadly, the same ex that I mentioned a minute ago, they really, 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 really wanted every instance to be a threesome or an orgy, and were obsessed about the fact that because I liked women, that I would automatically just be involved in whoever he might want to invite round. There were a few.
And I'm like, what if I'm not attracted to that woman?
Precisely.
Not to be a dick, but what if their vibes are bad?
That happened. That happened. And there was also, I mean, to be fair, this person was a very good person anyway. So they would put people together that, you know, this saying, don't poop where you sleep, or don't whatever. And having like people that are very close to each other that realize that was really not a good decision to make. He didn't care. There were feelings going on with people that weren't supposed to be feelings, and then it would get like, imagine having a closeness to people, and then suddenly like, oh, this is not the situation that was described to me, and that was not the situation that was described to her. But to fulfill your fantasies, we're all sat there having some drinks, and it's like, oh, okay. Sorry, I just thought we were hanging out. You know, that kind of like. But anyway, yeah, there was a huge like push almost every week for like, oh, you should talk to this girl, you should do this, you should do that, and it was very controlling. And also just I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be forced to create some sort of weird scenario. But yeah, it was. I feel very strongly about that when people are like, "Oh, so it means you want to have a threesome then? Does it mean it means you want to do this?" Like, no, not every time, not in every situation. I don't know. It's weird. Also, like, talk to people, communicate with people. Everyone
communicating is very, very important.
Yeah. Even if you have fantasies that you want to create, you should probably talk to people about them first before they find out the wrong way, because that's not very comfortable. But anyway, yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Pretty much.
Communicate with people around you, and if people are crossing your boundaries, then they're obviously not worth your time.
No. I hear that a lot with poly relationships as well, that there's usually more communication in those because
there has to be
because of feelings and I don't know, personal preferences vary as well, right? So, but anyway, but we're not poly, so we'll move on to the next one. Let's have a look. You can't come out as pan as an adult later in life. You would have known sooner. Surely you would have known when you were younger that you were pan.
I'm angry. First off, that is all encompassing. You can come out at any time. Literally, when you are old, in the dirt, in the nursing home, you can be coming out at any time. A lot of people, unfortunately, have to or feel like they have to hide themselves and sometimes go lifetime without being able to come out. And then you get stories of people who have children and families and are finally trying to become who they really are and leave those things behind. It's interesting, and I think it's a societal conversation around being able to come out sooner and having more ability and more resources and more education earlier in life. But the statement that you can't come out later in life and you should have known, shut up.
It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous upon ridiculous upon ridiculous. And this, I dug these out because they are just silly, but they're really good conversation starters. But they're like literal. Most of these things I've heard at least a couple times throughout life. So so it's important to bring that up.
Definitely, someone could have heard that as well.
Yeah. It's important that you were saying about how like there's so much more information out there now, and we talked about this quite often, that 25 years ago I would send a handwritten letter to my pen pals in America, and it might get there in 4 weeks, and things would be quite slow then, and I wasn't able to talk to friends within seconds and find out about their day or find out about what they've learned. But now we can all share so much information so quickly. It's overwhelming actually how much you can consume and how much you can fit in your brain. But more and more now there's more references, there's more resources to find ourselves more, or to find out more about ourselves. I know for sure people in stream have even learned things just this week about stuff that they didn't really quite understand or hadn't really heard about before. So even just that, like people using their platforms for good, which is great, obviously, but there's so much to learn that people might not have that might not have had a person that they could relate to or identify with a little bit more or connect with. So I think that's like, on one hand, you don't know, you might not know for a very long time, you might not find out until very later in life, or there might just one day be someone on the TV talking about something you're like, oh, I that sounds a bit like me, and do a bit of research and then find out a bit more. So there's that. But also, like you say as well, people that get married and have families, they may be, for many reasons, maybe trying to hide who they really are authentically, for reasons of other people, religions, like anything. There's a lot of things that can stop someone from coming out. There's a lot of stuff that people can suppress or feel that it's wrong, because a lot of society can give that message when it's not true. So shame is a big thing that a lot of people are trying to eradicate over time, but it's still very much out there for a lot of people, and for good reason, right? Because there's a lot of bad vibes from some people.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So
oh, hydration.
We gotta have a little hydrate.
We love.
But it means I don't subscribe to societal expectations or gender norms. Yeah. And that's really okay. And I really do find like the internet is such a useful library of resources to finding out more about things and about ourselves, that it's been super useful for me, at least. Coming out as pan as well, both of us were saying, like, started out thinking we were bi, and then that kind of developed, hearing more and learning more. And pan's a more recent term. I can't remember when I heard it, for me anyway. Not that it's, pansexuals have always existed, just FYI everyone, but it's something that I didn't know much about until more recently, because of the internet, because of things that I saw somewhere, people talking about it. And for me, like, I kind of felt a bit selfish to think about myself and my sexuality or identity in any case, which is why my own coming out to people either felt really strange for me, or for some people I didn't bother with some people because I just felt like it wasn't necessary. But for some that I did, I was like, oh, how am I gonna say this, because I'm not very important. So there was that. I tell myself this more and more now, but like it wasn't until I was in my 20s that I was like, yeah, I should probably actually talk about me, because I'm always supporting my other friends. And anyway, when I did, most of the people in my friendship groups were like, yeah, we know, like, I know, like, it's like, I've got something to tell you. And I was like, I'm bi at the time, and they're like, okay, yeah, and like, were we meeting for like a specific reason? Like, did you have something to say?
You have the right friends.
So yeah, and it is nice. Like that's good. a good instance.
A lot of people may not be coming out due to safety as well, or they'll be out to some people and not out to other people because of safety. Like Rachel commented in chat that her dad would threaten to disown her in high school. Like, that's a safety concern.
Yeah.
So people don't come out for those reasons.
Especially if you see that behaviour before approaching them with your personal...
With someone else, or if they've... all I can really say is, like, I hope that there's more resources and more normal treatment of individuals as individuals going forward, and the way to make that more normal is to keep on talking about it, keep on being who we are, and keep on perpetuating the idea, because it's true that we are individuals who deserve to be heard and listened to, just as our neighbors are. And yeah, but
it's true.
It's something that's not going to change overnight, but it's also not something that should be a problem to begin with, which really sucks.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just having a look at these messages as well. Oh, ReadyBot is still... I forgot we could get rid of ReadyBot now. Was it difficult to come out? I can only imagine how hard that'd be. Yeah, especially like we were just saying, just that whole thing of witnessing other people's behaviour. There's been things, I personally as well, my dad has made comments about the community in the past, and so I never felt the need to even tell him. I'm not very close with him anyway, but I see him every now and then, and I just thought he's a person that I didn't really care to tell. Sometimes I think, I actually think I kind of casually said something once, and it wasn't bad, it wasn't taken badly, but I kind of felt like, you know what, I know I've heard what you think, even if it's about gay guys, maybe again from a personal, threatened, reflective kind of view, which is wrong, and I've challenged that. Also very important to challenge things if it's not right and it's not okay, whether you're affected or not, if it's standing up for other people in the community or people that can't defend themselves because they're not there witnessing the conversation. I think that's important. But I just kind of thought, you know what, it's not worth going into a proper talk about it anyway. But there are other people that I thought are really important, people that I spend a lot of my time with. Well, I think they should know. I think my partner should know. I think, those people that kind of matter.
I also agree. I also think that your partner should not only know, but they should highlight and respect your sexuality as well.
Yes.
Especially in a straight passing relationship where one person who is on our LGBTQIA plus spectrum and the other person isn't, is important to have highlight and to bring a lot of attention and care to the person whose sexuality is being hidden by a straight passing relationship.
I'm proud of my partner for all the stuff that he does, and he asks lots of questions all the time. We've been together 4.5 years, and
wow.
I know it's gone so quick as well. It's the one that feels like it's gone the fastest because it's just been the most fun.
Great.
Yeah,
that's so good.
It's really nice. So
that's how you know.
Yeah, exactly. September is our little. We always one of us always forgets which day our anniversary is. So this year we'll both remember this year. I'm sure. I'll definitely remember this year. I know around the time, and we always celebrate around the time. But 5th of September, everyone, remind me. No, don't remind me.
I'm gonna put it on my calendar really quick for you.
It's only 3 months away. But he's just always inquisitive. There might be something that he's like, oh, can I ask you about this? Or are you okay about this? Does this mean this? And not just for me, but for the rest of the community. He works in the mail distribution industry, and within his workplace, he's witnessed quite a lot of transphobia, quite a lot of homophobia, and it's from men who are probably in their maybe 40s, 50s, 60s, and just people that are don't like change. There's kind of people that stuck in the whatever decade it was. Funnily enough, we've all grown, and we're all living in this decade, We're all in 2025, so anyone that's like, oh, back in my day, or we never did this, or oh, this is new, whatever. We are all here together. Like,
right.
They're not just coming a time capsule from the 60s and gone, oh my goodness, where am I?
It's like,
what's going on?
Today.
Today's today.
Exactly.
We've all they have experienced the last 40, 50 years as well. I always find that quite a funny thing to bring up. Like, they can't just. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse to just still be in that whatever mindset that they might have been years ago. When I was young, I was easily influenced by people. Would hear things, would think things were good, bad, whatever, but I learned what was right and what was wrong, and so there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse.
There isn't. And if it's also up to us to continue to educate ourselves and to be up with the time and to continue to work towards growth and change. And if we're sitting here refusing to learn how to use a computer because back in my day we didn't use a computer, then bye Betty, have a good time on your typewriter. We're all over here in the new age. Move the fuck on, Betty. So it's not that hard. It can take some getting used to, but every bit of change takes some getting used to, and it's not. Yeah, we can't be using excuses for it wasn't the same back then, especially when it comes to like discrimination. It can never be excused. Like there's nothing anyone can say to make it okay for someone to discriminate against someone else. We all know that, and I think we're both quite wholesome communities anyway, that we know what's wrong. But anyone that still thinks that in these times is just probably a bit brainwashed, probably not quite with it, and needs educating, although not everyone is willing to be educated, sadly. That's another thing, but that doesn't mean we can't try. No one likes to be told they're wrong, but it's important to be able to be told you're wrong, and it's important to be able to grow from the things that you were told that you have done or said wrong. So
you hear that, chat? We're all learning lessons today.
The person next to you is also a human, and it's important to treat that human the way that you want to be treated. And unfortunately, not everyone follows those rules, but as long as we are, more people should and will, especially if we don't falter or change in the way that we are going. And yes, I'd rather be corrected than wrong.
I hold my hands up if someone's told me something's wrong, or if I've missaid something, or
call me out, tell me something, slide in my DMs and tell me, hey, you said this and I didn't like it, and I'll say, okay, thank you for telling me. I hear you, and I want to be better, and I will be better going forward. Because it acknowledges that you said the thing. It acknowledges that you're gonna change, and then all you can do from then is change.
And the actions
people
follow.
Also, it matters what you do after you were taught something, because this is also a side conversation, a tangent that I go on all the time, but I get very frustrated when people forget that not everyone knows everything that you already know. Not everyone has lived your experiences. Not everyone has, as much internet education or as much experience in this. So
are you me?
You hold yourself. So you hold yourself to this high ground because you're so educated or have the more experiences, and then you are unwilling to allow someone else to also learn at the stage that they're learning it at. So I get very frustrated when I see that happening. So I hear things pretty often that I think are common knowledge, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is. So as long as I am willing to be that teacher in the moment, then I can monitor and make sure that they weren't just joking and saying, oh, I didn't actually know. because it matters to me what you do after you are taught what is going on.
Yeah.
And if that was actually your first time learning something and you go forth and make change and try, that matters to me a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely noticed.
People are human. People make mistakes. People make errors. As long as they're not done with malice intent, I am willing to teach somebody, and I'm willing to hope and help them be. I'm willing to be a part of that process of growing towards change.
Yeah.
And not everybody is. A lot of people that I know, unfortunately, hold people to a high ground of common sense because they are circled in that. And
want to read their mind.
And when they hear someone saying something incorrectly or saying something insensitive or whatever the case may be, they sort of just shut that person out and shame them for what they've done wrong versus educate, like tell them what they did wrong, educate them why, and then if they're receptive to this information, be like, just don't do it again and let's move forward, and then they actually make change, then I think that like we actually helped them become a better person.
Yeah, give them the chance. Give them the chance to do it. I've experienced a lot of, and I can relate to feelings of rejection sensitivity. So, you know, like if someone tells you you're wrong, it can be so easy for people to be like, oh my God, I've completely upset this person. I've ruined my whole chance of being friends with them. Like that might be someone's viewpoint of actions that have been a bit negative. But most of the time it's a complete drama, over dramatic response because you just didn't want to upset someone. So I don't react in that way when someone tells me something. I sometimes take a bit of time and I'm like, oh, okay, what can I do about this? How can I make it better? And I think the worst thing to do is kind of play the victim. And I know a lot of people that experience rejection sensitivity might suddenly play the victim or use an excuse. So I'm always also then kind of trying to say, I recognize this as rejection sensitivity, but let me also help you here that this would be a good way to go for the next steps, or this would, like, again, trying to, like, on one hand it feels disappointing, right, that someone hasn't done the thing that you would have done that way, but they can't read your mind, but trying to say, like, hey, maybe don't play the victim. Maybe just take accountability and say, I mean, I can't tell them, you know, say sorry, I wouldn't tell them word for word, but like the best thing to do is not make it about you. People have so much more respect. When you harm somebody,
they're the person that's harmed, and you should not be like, oopsies, I've messed up everything. You should say, I'm sorry I've harmed you. And let's how can we fix this? There's a lot of conversation about bias in the chat as well, which is really important because that sort of goes on what I was saying about being able to hear somebody where they're at and understanding that they have a bias that they're thinking with, and that's why they're saying certain things. Recognizing that we also have biases, even if we are trying our hardest to be as best as we can be and be as open and positive and open and accepting as we are. We all live in this fucking society, and we have all been taught through society to think certain ways. We all have so much internalized misogyny, internalized anti-this, anti-that. It's all so internalized. We have to remember that we are also a growing and changing person, and where we are right now is not the end goal. And so the person coming to us is probably further back behind that goal, and they have to also be chipping away at their internal biases that they've been taught through society. And it is just important to be, I'm like a very soft, approachable person where I am open to being that way, and I just want to push more people to be that way and try to express it in that way. Hopefully helps people understand why.
Yeah, because it's not a threatening way to be. It's more of it is more understanding. It comes across as more understanding. I think it gives people it allows people to feel a bit safer. I think you would hope anyway. That's for other people to determine.
I'm definitely not tolerant of hate, and I think that's the message. While I'm willing to hear someone out and I'm willing to help them change, if they're being intolerant, there is a line for sure. Like there is definitely a line. If someone is trying and they need more help and they're willing to try and they're actively trying, then I am much more willing to help somebody. We never tolerate the intolerant. Exactly.
Yeah, you can't.
There's definitely a line. I'm not tolerant of bigots, guys.
No, same. Anyone that openly is proud to discriminate and it has no intention of changing. There are some people that can't be helped. It's really frustrating, but there's only so much energy you can give. But if it's a friend, you want to help the friend, right? If it's someone that you know, someone from the community, I always want to educate and help in that way. But there's definitely, it's case by case thing where there might be some that just need to be got rid of, won't belong here, and they're usually the bigots or the people that are just have deep rooted discrimination
for sure
beliefs that are not right.
What's your next question that we have, or not question, misconception?
Misconception.
Oh, there we go.
Pansexuals are not respectful towards gender identities. So you even touched on this earlier as well.
I did talk about this earlier. When I was talking about what pansexuality is to me and the difference between pansexuality and bisexuality. I did talk about how when it comes to attraction, someone's gender doesn't make a difference to me. That does not mean that I don't respect and love and see them where they're at. But I am not gender focused when it comes to finding someone that I want to be in a relationship with. Someone could be cis or trans or non-conforming or literally anything, and I can find myself attracted to that person. And that when I say it doesn't matter, I really have to heavily emphasize it does matter. It just doesn't matter when it comes to me potentially having a crush on you.
That's a really good way to articulate it as well. You don't care about your partner's gender. It's just that it's not in the list of like the tick list, right? Are they
gender
this? Are they that? It just doesn't.
Gender's not in my list of things that I'm looking for. And while I, as a person, respect and love people of all genders, I'm not looking at people's genders when I'm thinking of my sexual attraction to people.
Yeah. It's a very good way of putting it.
But I hope that's not disrespectful.
No,
I just think everyone's kind of cute.
I think that's fine. But that's a personal belief. Always gonna follow up with that. Also, we are not professionals, but I think you all knew that already. Apart from someone did come into the chat the other day. Oh, it was quite some time ago now, but chat will always remind me that they call me a professional lesbian.
Hey, there we go.
Now, whilst I'm not a lesbian, that was not offensive to me at all. But apparently, I am if we're not professionals, but apparently, according to one person, I'm a professional lesbian. Just FYI.
But you said they gave me my credentials specifically. It's on my resume now. Thank you.
I need to put that on my media kit actually. But no, we're only talking about our lived experiences, and I should probably say this at the start, but I've got ADHD, so it just comes at any time. It made the stream, be happy about it.
They put the ADHDs together to make a podcast.
Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, good.
Oh,
good. Oh my goodness. Words. Oh, we're failing. This is it. This is the end. Yeah, we're not professionals. We might not know everything.
But that's okay.
But that's okay. We're talking about our own experiences and what we feel and think and can hopefully share with you our knowledge that you should have already known, for goodness sake. Not really.
Right.
But
you could have.
You could have.
It's important because non-professional experiences can touch on topics that professionals might not. And professionals can be touching on topics that non-professionals can't either. Everyone talking about the gays is important, okay?
It is. Exactly. I think that is a good point about professionals might not always... Where are you going? Oh, okay. Oh, she does want... I don't know what she wants. Oh, she wants more food.
You see.
Good point about the professionals not knowing, because you could study something, but you're not in their shoes.
Right.
I could have read Anne Frank's diary, but I wasn't there. I didn't experience the things, so I can only just say what I've read from stuff. Can you not touch? She's like trying to pour it away. Can you? No, please no. The spring rolls are not for you.
I have a question. Forgive my ignorance, but is the energy analogy similar to the connection described in Ace or Arrow, or demisexualities, like needing the emotional or platonic connection with someone before attraction? And it could be. Mm-hmm. I would say that starts leaning into our intersectionalities, where I consider myself a demi-pan. I'm demi-romantic and pansexual. Mm-hmm. It sort of just means that I have to be emotionally invested in somebody to fall in love with them, and I have to, but that person that I could be in love with, it does not matter who they are, I could have sex with them. Like, that's sort of where I put myself on this spectrum of lots of things. But pansexuality in general is less about the need for affection and attraction, and attraction's important, but I mean more so like that emotional connection. It's less about the emotional connection and more so just about who you're looking at, and all of those people being an option for you to be in a relationship with, or in a sexual relationship with, or anything like that. And when I say that it's not about their gender or who they are, it is truly about the energy that I feel. As much as you would talk to whatever your sexuality might be, if this person might be straight, if I'm talking to a man and I have a crush on them, it is that same feeling, but that feeling of having a crush on someone, infatuation, can happen with anybody. Yeah. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good... you articulate things really well. You articulate things how I would like to say it, but it just doesn't come out that way.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
So that is good. That is good.
I can be infatuated with anybody. I can have a crush on anybody. Like the relationship or connection himself, or the personality nature of the person instead of the gender. Correct. Yes. 100% that. We did it. We learned. I love us.
Nice. We were talking about Arrow and Ace stuff yesterday, and there is so much to learn. So there were loads of things that we came out of that conversation from as well, and there were lots of new things that I was learning about, and stuff that I don't think about when it comes to me.
Right.
So obviously also worth thinking about. Oh my goodness, she's having a private wash. Can you?
Absolutely. In front of the chat.
Wow. Can we look? This is free, mate. This is
the look
free
at
show.
You is wild.
She just doesn't care. This is Paul the girl cat. You carry on. I mean, all right, fine. Anyway, Kat is giving us a show. She's
truly.
Gosh, Paul. Anyway, where are we? Let's
Our
see
misconceptions.
Misconceptions.
We've got 3 more.
Yeah. Pansexuals find it easy to come out because everyone finds their orientation valid.
I find that to be the opposite of my experience. Most people, when I tell them or express that I'm pansexual, they're mostly confused, or they make the good old, "So are you attracted to pans?"
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The silly dad joke.
I think most people are confused by it, in my experience.
Right. I feel like when it says valid, I feel like a lot of people haven't. The same with the whole bisexual umbrella, and pansexual. I feel like a lot of people. There have been people that I know will already be like, huh. Okay, you want to be part of the gang, but you're not like fully in with us. Thankfully, It's not been most of my friends have been quite welcoming, but there have been some of the more unsurprising people that would be like, "Oh, congratulations," and it was said with that weird, like, "Oh, okay, yeah," like that. I'm judging you kind of tone. And I remember just being like, was that in my head? And someone else had confirmed we were both witnessing that response from a person that I used to work with who I thought would be so supportive. And I was like, was I going mad, or did that just happen? And they were like, no, they definitely did that. And I guess, yeah, I think even just witnessing someone do that once can make it feel a bit scary doing it the next time.
Yeah.
So that could be a bit of a daunting thing. Oh, we've got redeems. Do we have Oh, we have redeems. We have it's dreamies as well. I'm so sorry. We have
treats.
Dreamies. Yeah, you want
the look at you is crazy.
She's like my child. Alright, wave to everybody. She's like, oh, do I have to wave? Go on, wave. Come on. Good job.
Cute.
She can have 2 dreamies, and she's been eating too much food. She eats. We've got Owlie, who's a fluffy boy, a bit older. He's becoming a bit senile, and she eats his food. Go on. Oh, okay. She's getting violent
no
now
waving
with the
this
second
time.
one. No, I'll have it, and I'll take it. Good day. All right, that's enough. Because yeah, she's eating. If I don't supervise it, my mum will leave some food out for Owlie, her cat, and she just leaves it out into the wild almost, and the next thing I know, Paul's there eating his food. So she can only a certain amount of dreamies now. Okay, she's not interested anymore. Poor Owlie.
Thanks for the treats. Time to keep going.
Bye. I don't know. There was something I had in my notes, I'm sure, about not acknowledging that it's an orientation.
The misconceptions that we're talking about, you guys, is that pansexuals find it easy to come out because everyone finds their orientation valid.
And if you've heard of pan-erasure and bi-erasure, people that don't feel like it's a proper orientation because you're not fully
making a decision
with someone. Yeah, but it's
like
a full
non-decision.
Yeah. Like, oh, I can't choose, so I'll just have a bit of everything.
I'll just choose everybody. And if I could only choose one type of person, I would definitely choose women. But I don't choose one type of
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
I choose everybody, and that's not me choosing.
Yeah.
It's my little brain being like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I certainly, I feel, I shouldn't, but sometimes I feel offended when people are like, oh, the hetero couple over there, or the, you know, the.
I struggle a little bit whenever I'm in a straight passing relationship.
Yeah, and I know I shouldn't be, and I shouldn't care, but and I don't, and that, the funny thing is, if anyone assumes anything else, I'm kind of like, oh, that's incorrect, but like, it doesn't bother me as much.
Right.
But I'm like, what? Do I not look gay enough to you? Which the truth
There's
is,
never gay enough. By the way, you are gay enough, just as you are.
Exactly. It's a very weird thing, but you're indecisive. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that too. Hydrate. Love that.
Oh well, let's go.
Keeping watered. Let me see. There was someone that said, questions. Yeah. I feel like pansexuals are more inclined to remain in the dark about their sexuality for fear that their attraction to other people isn't valid or that they simply won't be accepted. It seems as if it's a big grey area for people who aren't involved in the community as much. Which is, that was kind of like I remember when I first came out as bisexual to a friend, and they were like, oh yay, well done you, and it was okay. But then within the gay community there was a very kind of judgmental period where it felt like everyone I was saying to, it was like, oh, all right, okay, all right, you're gonna kiss a girl tonight, are you, when we go out drinking or whatever? Like, oh, the girls that like to kiss the girls and whatever.
Just making light of something that's important to you.
Yeah,
sure.
And especially when it is like it is people from the community as well. You would hope that there is a respect there, and there is the reassurance that you can safely say that around other people. Because when the shoe's on the other foot, I absolutely would never want to make someone feel odd about doing that or weird. But yeah, it can be a strange thing to say, and a strange way to react. So it hasn't stopped me from saying it to people, but it does. I'm always interested in seeing what someone's response might be if I say it. Most of the time now, I just say it like I don't. It's not a true. Oh, I have something to tell you. It's just like, oh yeah, because I like girls too, blah blah blah, or I like other people too. Or I find this person attractive, or like, God, aren't they gorgeous? Like, just kind of fitting into a general conversation, and things that don't need to be a big deal really. But coming out is a big deal, not to diminish that, but most of the time I feel like I don't make it a big thing too often these days. I think I'm just I've been there, done it, and now I don't have anyone that I'm super super close to that doesn't know. People that do that kind of thing, minimizing, belittling. Yeah, the jokes. I when people joke about things, I sometimes you didn't need to do that, but anyway.
I agree with you.
Yeah. The definition of pansexuality is rigid for everyone.
Is that the misconception?
Yeah.
That it is one definition? No. I think with any definition of any sexuality, it is all up to interpretation, and everyone has their own experiences within specific pieces of the spectrum. And it's important, like, one person's specific definition is different from the next, and I think that's super important too, so that we can all hear each other where we're at. Like, pansexuality for me might be different than what pansexuality is for you. But
yeah,
I completely disagree with that. That's crazy.
Yeah, even looking up the I think I was looking up in the wiki, because my view of it, or my experience of it is very personal to me. But even just saying encompasses attraction to multiple genders, with the attraction being physical, romantic, and or emotional. There are three big areas that you can have: 1, 2, or 3 varying varying combos. And so it can be capable of attraction to any or all genders, or multiple. It's just it's whatever it is, it's regardless of gender identity, but still respectful of. So it's definitely not a rigid term, and it can, there's a whole umbrella for that, just like there are umbrellas for lots of other terms that we have. And you were saying earlier about demi-romantic and stuff like that. There are people that will also relate, and there will be people that don't. And it's just like there are so many options, and you can pick and choose what most apply to you, but it's not going to be one size fits all.
Right.
And it's definitely important to know that, because a lot of people that are questioning might be like, oh, what I heard, it's only this, so then I must not be pan, or I'm this, whatever it is. It's important to remember that there might be things that are applicable to you, or do apply, or you can relate to, but to kind of expect it to be just a rigid description, or a rigid whatever the word is that I can't think of right now, a rigid thing, it's not. So pick and choose what applies to you, if you want.
And everyone's experience is different. That's kind of why I am leaning more towards utilizing queer as my descriptor for myself. It feels more encompassing and up to interpretation.
And you don't even have to explain yourself. Like, that's the beauty of it, right? But it is. I do feel like when I talk about myself, I'm like, pansexual feels the most the most common that I've been talking about recently, and bi, and then just queer felt more of that than the others. Nice. We're flying through these.
We are. We got the last one. Are you ready?
It's nice though. Yeah, go on.
It is nice. There's a misconception, and this one makes me so upset. There's a misconception that pansexuality is just transphobic.
I mean, how ridiculous.
I think it's the literal opposite of that. It is the literal opposite.
Right?
It's crazy.
Like,
that's a misconception.
Who actually has anyone? No one here has thought that before, surely.
No one in my community has thought that.
It's very strange.
I would have thought opposite from what I've heard today. Exactly.
Yeah. So one of the...
It's so interesting reading that. I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
People think that?
Very silly. A big misconception is that pan people are somehow being transphobic by stating that they're attracted to trans people, or saying they are, while bisexual people aren't, because they don't see trans people as although for me, what I was, because this is what I'm reading off some research thing, for me now, I see bisexual as not just male or female. But before, that used to be my understanding. What that applied to me was, you know, male or females. But now it might not be as applicable. But yeah, it's dangerous.
Someone can be, for sure. I think I understand what you're saying. So you're saying like, you, in history, you've sort of placed your experiences on someone who has transitioned to either be male or female. But since like learning more, you are now understanding that someone can be any gender identity and then also be trans. Yeah. And I think that literally coincides with more things that pansexual individuals enjoy.
Yeah.
I like anybody and everybody, no matter what they've got going on, anywhere with their life, with their bodies, with their identities, with their gender. It's yeah. You could
It's not. It's just. It just doesn't register that person has to be any kind of gender. But it's such a dangerous, it's such a weird thing to say. It's almost saying it's like fetishization.
Fetishized. Yeah.
Which also it's not the fetishization is more, well, it's kind of, I think it's kind of obvious, but then that's me just assuming that people would know. It's more being, how I need to look up the actual description. Basically, that's
Don't
not,
laugh. I agree. Don't Laugh said, given that pansexuals are by definition open to being attracted to people outside or between genders, thus people who are inherently trans on account of not being cisgendered at all, pansexuality is actually the most inclusive of trans people. And that's literally what I agree with. I'm like, what do you mean? This misconception, that feels someone throwing things in the dark.
Yeah. Not to, yeah. And
we
so
love an essay.
Fetishization as well.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing about elevating a certain thing and exaggerating it to an abnormal status. So like obsessively targeting trans people for that fantasy, for that want, whatever. That's not definitely not my experience, and definitely not what most pansexual people will be doing or explaining or experiencing. It's just, it doesn't matter if you're trans, if you're biological, male, female, non-binary.
Absolutely.
Age, gender.
Fetishization of anything is unhealthy.
Yeah, there's no prioritizing or obsessive abnormal stuff going on there. Basically, it's really hard to explain.
Outlandish misconception that's on this list. That's
silly.
Wild.
Bit silly, but yeah, it has nothing to do with whether someone's trans or cis. It's just we're attracted to somebody, and if they
find myself having
trans,
a crush on someone, it could be anybody. It could be you. Watch out.
Wink. It's true. As a pan, does anyone else find themselves attracted to feminine masc or masculine femme?
Anybody?
I can.
I mean, I have been.
Yeah, I have been. Just whoever has caught my eye and at the time been attractive or fun to be around or whatever.
For sure.
Where on the spectrum are feet lovers?
Nowhere. That's just a sexual preference for anybody to have.
That's a fantasy or that would be a fetishization.
That is a fetish.
Yes.
That anyone can have.
That anyone can have. Yeah, pansexuals aren't. Wouldn't. That would be a misconception that pansexuals are into feet, because maybe some are, but maybe some aren't. But it's not exclusive to a a sexuality.
I believe I've heard trolls say that one before. It just showcases that they don't really know anything. It's okay.
No.
But I think, Gassy, your comment about, you know, being attracted to feminine masc or masculine femme is that is another in person's identity that can be included in everything. While some people have specific preferences and that might be within their experience, for me, I've definitely been attracted to everybody and everything, and I've found myself having little crushes on, like you're saying, feminine masc people or masculine femme people. I found myself having crushes on gender fluid individuals, on cis males, on trans femmes, like all sorts of. I'm just whoever is hitting my check boxes for things that I like.
Yeah. Honestly, like for me, is if you've got nice hair, like that could be anyone. Anyone can have nice hair. I might like them. I might like them. And so that really doesn't have any other specific requirements. I mean, to have hair, I mean that's also, that sounds like almost a discriminatory thing. There's just a personal preference that if they've got great hair, I might like them. But also, it's not all about hair always. It could be something else. It could be that they've got a great
specific
fashion sense.
Split off from the attraction. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And so, whilst fetishizing is having a preference of something abnormally kind of a bit on the odd side and a bit obsessive, you can still have a preference of, you know, who you might like or who you might be more attracted to. But yeah, for me as well, it hasn't really, it's just been as it's happened, I've gone, oh, I find that person really attractive, and they might be trans femme, and that's just oh, cool, okay, so I know that I'm attracted to someone that's trans femme. And then again, non-binary, female, male, it doesn't
Whatever.
matter. It really doesn't matter if they've got something going on and I like
people
it.
That make me laugh.
Yeah, I like that too. Personality, like, people may laugh, but personality, especially as we're getting older, it really matters. It really does hold a lot of attraction in itself.
Yeah.
You can't be around or be with someone who is just has the personality of a door or something. You just can't. Well, unless you're into that, unless people are into people who don't have, you know, a lot going on up there. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm drawn to someone or I connect with them, that's definitely a must, no matter what. So yeah, specific preferences from the attraction itself. You've read that one.
Once people are into doors, for sure.
Unless
people, watch out for.
Yeah. If people are into doors, that I'm not judging you. That's just not my personal preference. Is not doors, but that's okay, and that's okay for me. But if someone feels the complete opposite, go you. That's.
I just want to feel good around somebody, and people, not doors. I think they meant doors of a personality.
It's true.
Also doors and door frames and door hinges and door handles, you know. Some people
might, talking of like people that have the personality of door, some people might just want to look at someone. That might be enough for someone, and sometimes that does have an amount of attraction for me, but having on a deeper level, if I got to know someone and I just didn't click, or they weren't very intellectual maybe, or they just didn't feel like there was a match, then for me that it doesn't go very far. I remember I was in college and there was this guy who was like, apparently he was like the hottest guy in the college, and I was like, okay, let's talk to him. And anyway, I ended up going out with him for a while. I was like his girlfriend for a very short time, And we would go to lunch, and I'd just be like, so, what did you do? Like, what did you get up to? What lesson were you having? What did you do? What were you up to this morning? And it would just be like, huh, yeah. And I'd be like, give me something else. I remember just being sat there like, I'm so bored. Trying my hardest to like talk to this guy. No. My sister's eyes are like glaring. Yeah, you know who that was, I think. Okay. May have missed that part, but do you mean in an open way? Or like, oh, open door or wooden kind of way? I just mean like, maybe not much going on in the brain, but that sounds it's not what I mean. It means like maybe not having as a conversation that would feel that there's much to it. Barely there. Someone who's barely there and doesn't care to carry the conversation at times. It feels very one-sided. That's what I mean. I'm going to get myself cancelled for saying that people sound like I don't know. No one's a door. Or you can be a door if you want to be. I'll stop digging this hole. No, yeah, more of just like it just doesn't click, and they're not really giving you much to work with, or it feels like you're just trying, and there's just very short answers. Yeah, I think. I'm not here to make doors angry, says Rachel Pye. They already leave random bruises on me. But I need someone with personality. Yes, all about the personality. Oh, bye-bye, Paul. Being smart is overrated. Yeah, I and that's another thing. Like, I don't expect someone to be like super smart, super clever, have 10 PhDs and be working on another one. I think that's
that'd be cool.
Unrealistic. Be interesting for sure. Lots of things to talk about. But I don't have like unrealistic expectations of people, unfair expectations, or I guess that's also a personal view. But I wouldn't expect someone to be like super high IQ or anything like that. Just I guess I just mean like be able to have conversation. Yeah. Can go super deep on very specific niche special interests. Hey, that's all right. Sometimes you'll find someone that also has those specific niche interests. And if I found someone like that, then regardless of their gender, I would also find them attractive, perhaps. Yeah. Passion. I like seeing passion in people. I do like that. My empty box can keep me entertained for hours. Wait, do I want to ask? I don't know what that means. Booty bandit. Someone's passionate about something, and I automatically think they're cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. More passion, more energy, more
yes.
Footwork, more footwork.
Yeah. Common in neurodivergent people to see passion as the best thing as a person. In a person, I like the creative stuff as well. Like I'm such a creative. I like art, and I like just using my imagination for silly things. And I think if someone else is into that, and I can really connect with someone, they don't have to have like the same skill set as me or anything like that. Like if they like creative things, I feel like I really just, even on a friendship level with people, I find that's a really nice thing to have in common.
Yeah. For sure, I agree.
Yeah. Word mispronunciation is one of my big pet peeves. I'm so paranoid if I ever mispronounce something. I think on the whole we're okay.
Yeah.
And I never know if like correcting someone on a mispronunciation is good, but I tend to do it automatically sometimes. And then I'm like, oh, is this okay? It's normally received well, but it's normally around people that I know quite well. If it was around someone I didn't quite know, I'd probably be a bit more scared. And dyslexia is definitely not something to be.
Oh yeah, no, my streams are definitely, I read a lot of stuff in my streams because I play a lot of games where your reading is prevalent.
Oh.
And half the time I have to remind people, I'm like, I'm so sorry, you guys. I promise I have a master's degree. It just isn't in reading and English.
No, same. I have, when I'm reading text from a game out loud on stream, there's an extra layer of anxiety that comes with it. When I first started streaming, I couldn't talk properly, and I tell the community this all the time. I tell anyone who will listen, I couldn't talk. I couldn't string a sentence together. I had to write things down to remind myself to talk about stuff into the ether, and I was very lucky that a few of my friends would hang out in streams from the beginning. So I was very privileged and fortunate to always have someone in chat, and that's not anything we're entitled to. But I couldn't speak properly, and I'd always mess up my words. And there was a time where I was like, maybe I just need a couple of drinks. Well, don't do that. Also, that could be dangerous. Not that we did anything too dangerous, but drinking on stream is not advisable unless it's in moderation.
Yeah, no, totally.
But I just remember
special occasions or something.
Yeah, and certainly not having like a whole bottle or anything like that.
Right.
But I just remember like, God, I can't seem to talk properly, or I'd come off the stream and I'd be like, oh, the word I needed was whatever it was, and I'd get so annoyed, but I just kept doing it, kept going, and I guess 7 years later we're here, and at least we're talking a lot more. People can't shut me up half the time. So yeah, there's that whole thing of like, as good or as improved as I am now, there's still that anxiety of reading something out loud and thinking, oh, what if I say it wrong? And then just messing up because that's an extra layer. But it's not so bad. I think people won't be mad if there's a mistake here or there.
Yeah, you'd hope so at least.
Oh, you had a friend that said cinnamon.
Yeah, there we go, cinnamon instead of like cinnamon. But we were young. It was a kid thing. Like kids saying lello instead of yellow, cute stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
But no, conversation pieces can get really frustrating. There's one thing to be corrected on how to pronounce something because you're struggling in the moment.
Yeah.
And then there's another thing to say an entire sentence and then someone nitpicks and pulls apart what you said because it wasn't grammatically correct.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't the correct use of a word or something.
Yeah.
Because then it feels like what I'm saying and the message behind what I'm saying isn't being heard. It's being diminished actually because you're choosing to focus on linguistics here.
Yeah.
And I get frustrated, especially if that is a repeat issue. It's like, why are we talking if you're just judging me, you're grading me like a paper?
Yeah. Especially if you've just said a whole load of stuff and then it's like, oh no. Yeah, I can absolutely understand that, and like wanting to just talk about the thing you've said first, or it's more of the if someone's like, did I get that right? Is it okay? That's definitely a much better scenario to say it. In the moment, it can absolutely throw people off and just derail the whole thing. And usually it could be like if it's in a real important conversation, then you're not going to want to, you're just not going to feel good about it, are you? And I think that's important. Different countries having different meanings for words can cause some problems. Yeah. there can be confusion in that, but I trip over my words all the time.
Right.
I'm always asking chat to. There are certain pronunciations in things that I've seen, and I'm very aware that I might not know it. So I might say, I'm not sure how to say this. Can someone help me?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's quite common. I'll read it and I'll be like, ah. And I don't always want to attempt it if I'm going to get it horrendously wrong.
Right.
Same with like new people coming in, and some of them might seem like it's an obvious string of words, but some I'm like, oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. And then some try and trip you up anyway, don't they? The troll names. So we just try and be a bit mindful of that. I do that to bigots because I think that non-bigots are dumb and can't form a sentence. I've definitely, with my mum, I've interrupted her before, and that taught me very quickly not to interrupt when she's mid-sentence. And it's my cat. So my cat Paul is a female cat, and she's 11. She's always been a female cat. She's always been called Paul, but my mum sometimes still says he.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember, I know maybe it's not the biggest thing in the world, but there were a couple of times where she was talking about the cat and I'd be like, oh, it's she. And the whole throwing her off was quite a big thing that I was like, okay, right, whilst it might mildly annoy me, is it worth that whole thing when Mum's trying to say something? It made me think about that a bit when you were talking about earlier with interrupting.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely something to be mindful of.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Do we have any other conversation topics? Oh, we made it to the
I
end?
think, you know what? I think we've made it to the end. So
we made it to the end. That's crazy.
I know. The other things are just like kind of sharing experiences on the way, is good and bad. But
No, this has been super great.
Yeah, I'm really.
Guys in chat, I hope you liked
impressed.
our conversation. This was fun.
Thank you. I'm impressed that you had good experience as well. That's so nice to hear. And
thanks.
I want to hear that more from people. Like, yeah, I never really had a bad experience. There could be like instances where it's like, oh, that's weird. But like,
I've had some instances, whatever. But
yeah, not like defining moments or anything like that, which is good. So yeah.
This was fun.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for including me.
I really appreciate it. In terms of like raiding out as well, I don't know if you wanted to do a double raid today.
Sure.
Because the raid train is still going. Everyone,
where's the raid train at?
Yeah, the raid train is going throughout the month of June. So, thank you, Mel.
Is there like a website link?
It. Yeah,
there we go. Very nice.
There, and then it would be. Oh, okay. So we're in the middle of one as well. That's good. So they're an hour in. Yes. So let's copy. Blah blah blah.
All right. We have a raid message.
Oh yes. What should we say? Yesterday we had a double. Oh, we could do a pansexual flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pink, yellow, and blue, or do you say blue, pink, and yellow? I always use those three, and then the yellow's in the middle.
Yeah, it's pink, yellow, blue.
Yeah.
I always go from the top and then down.
Pink, yellow, blue. That makes sense.
There's also global Twitch emotes.
Oh, do they have the global?
There we go. I made a message.
Hey. Oh, amazing. Amazing. All right, let's use that. All right, everyone, make sure you copy and paste that in. Thank you again, Jen. I really value your time as well, because especially when you had to get up and time zones and everything.
Oh, that's okay.
So,
it's like now it's 1 p.m. for me, so I get to go make some food.
Nice. Well, I hope it's a good one, and we'll see you again soon.
Totally.
All right.
I'll pop out of here. See you
All
later.
Right. Take care. Bye. All right, chat. We got a raid? We got a raid? I gotta make sure I get the... No. I've got all things all over the place. Don't worry, chat. Everything is fine. Honeyfield oats. You ready? I'll be back later. But I'll see you all soon. Okay, bye.